Hello, everyone. New month, new mini-series, new topics. Say Mary from Mary with Mary Minds. This month we are focusing on various biblical characters and how they achieved and lived their God-given purpose. This week we are looking at a guy who takes up a lot of the book of Genesis. That's right, Joseph of Egypt. If you're not familiar with the story, he had a lot of brothers. He was number 11 of 12. His dad loved him more than all of the other brothers combined, and it caused some problems. His older brothers resented little brother being the favorite, and they eventually sold him into slavery. He was transported to Egypt, where he became a slave in Potiphar's household, and Potiphar's wife sexually harassed him, tried to seduce him. When that didn't work out, she made some false allegations. He ended up in prison. There he interpreted a couple of dreams for a few important people in Pharaoh's household. One went on to lose his life, and the other went on to forget about Joseph until it became convenient to remember him. So with all of that in the background, let's dissect a little bit deeper. So Joseph had three things going for him in every situation, and they apply to us today too. Number one, God had never left Joseph and never forsake Joseph. He knew God was with him through the whole thing. And we have God with us today as well. God will never leave us nor forsake us. Number two, all things worked together for Joseph's good, and he saw that in Genesis chapter 50, verse 20, when he went to his brothers who were concerned about crud, now dad's dead. We're in for it. Oh boy, are we in for it. He's powerful. Dad's not here to protect us. We are collectively toast. And he went and said, no, you're not toast. I'm not mad at you. I've gotten over that. Because what you meant to destroy me, God used to allow me to save you and everyone else in this region. You meant it for evil, God meant it for good. Guess who won? You're still alive because God won. So I'm not going to be the one to destroy you. We see this same thing continue in the New Testament with Romans chapter 8, verse 28, and we know all things work together for our good according to God's plan. So if we can remember that, we can really make a huge adjustment with our mindset when we're going through things. This is for our good in the long run. Yeah, the world might think they're destroying us. People might think they're gonna whip us and beat us down. But with God, that same situation is not going to break you. It's going to make you stronger. It will be used for your good. And number three, your mess can be your message and help you fulfill a purpose of easing the suffering of others. Oftentimes, you understand someone who's been through a similar situation to you. If you've been unemployed, you can relate when someone else is going through that same situation. Unemployment is really unpleasant. People who have been there understand this, and they can help guide someone who's maybe experiencing this for the first time. If you're experiencing the death of a parent, those of us who have already been there and done that understand better than someone who still has their parents alive. Your mess can be your message and help ease the suffering of someone in your sphere of influence. So, thinking back over your life, this is kind of a heavy topic, but it's so hopeful and so powerful. Consider how your life has unfolded. Think about where you are now and look for those God influences. Find the moments where you know you are here because God intervened and allowed things to fall into place for you to be there. For me, it was not getting credentialed to be a teacher when I graduated from my university. I thought I was going to be a traditional classroom teacher, and all of a sudden that didn't happen. So I now had to figure out something else, and I'm so glad it did work out that way. 8 states later, I meet my husband, we get married, and I still teach, maybe just not in the most traditional senses. It worked for my good. I've made so many friends and connections because I had the freedom to travel and to go and do that I would not have had it. I just gone into a traditional classroom setting. I would have missed so many opportunities. So think about your own life and how what you thought was the end of the world may have actually been a blessing in disguise. And build on that. If you could trust God then, how can you trust Him more this week? And we will see you next week for our next biblical character, another really cool figure you're probably very familiar with. If you're curious to find out who it'll be and how I'm going to dive into his story, check in next week. If you want to learn more about Joseph of Egypt, I do have a workbook available. Link is in the caption. Have a good new week and a merry mind, y'all.